Good evening, YouTube. You guys are now watching another segment of the Cali Effect. It has been a very interesting format, or format inside of a format, with the adjusted list going on. And one has to think, how is this divvy up, like on paper? But anyways, it has been an amazing couple of months that we have played Yu-Gi-Oh! And one has to wonder, under these two formats, the adjusted list and the November list, what were the best cards of the format? Well, say no more. The Cali Effect is here to give you the top 5 monsters of this format, as well as a good explanation why these monsters are the top. Now, you guys might not agree with them, and there definitely are honorable mentions, but these are the cards that the Cali Effect feels that really had a big impact on this format at certain points of the game, or at certain points of the format, or throughout the whole format, that it was just so overwhelming that you have to mention these cards. Number 5 on this list is Psy-Frame Lord Omega. Now, Psy-Frame Lord Omega can arguably be the best level 8 synchro in the game. Its 2800 attack is nothing to scuff at, but its effects are even better. Once per turn during your standby phase, once per turn during your opponent's standby phase, you can return one of your banished cards from your banish zone to the graveyard. This was amazing for returning cards like Mizuki or Perform Rage Damage Juggler from your graveyard, or from your banish zone to your graveyard, allowing it for another reuse back on your turn, which would give you a significant edge later in the game when you can activate multiple copies, or more than 3 copies of Damage Juggler, more than 3 copies of Mizuki in one game. The next best thing is that this card had hand disruption for days. During the main phase in an open game state, you can banish Psy-Frame Lord Omega to basically pluck a card out of your opponent's hand and banish it. Now, granted, the card comes back on your turn, but this was so great about Psy-Frame Lord Omega. Well, Lord Omega doesn't banish the card face down, so at the very worst, you get a little bit of information on what your opponent is playing. It also provides a lot of hand disruption, preventing the opponent from going into their combos. There has been multiple decks that would summon a good 2 Psy-Frame Lord Omegas, and we know plucking 2 cards out of your opponent's hand when you kind of need those 2 cards to set up scales, or activate card effects and do certain things, probably was crucial, especially seeing that monster came back, 2800 attack, and strong as ever. Another great thing about Psy-Frame Lord Omega was its actually banishing effect. There are so many things you can do now that he's not on the field. Well, my Torrential Tribute no longer affects me because, Psy-Frame Lord Omega is on the field. And the opponent can't necessarily deal with this situation because the monster isn't on the field. This card is just amazing. Its third effect is actually used in some gimmicky Monarch deck, but that's not the reason why this card is number 5 on the list. I think we can get to number 4 though, since we've already talked about the awesomeness of Psy-Frame Lord Omega. Number 4 on this list makes it, even though it is a themed exclusive card. That's right, we're talking about Cosmo Dark Destroyer, also known as Cosmo Dank Destroyer, also known as Cosmo Wallet Destroyer, because up until now, this card was very expensive. Cosmo Dark Destroyer makes it on the list for a multitude of reasons. I think the biggest thing that I want to point out is that it's a 3000 body, and not a lot of good Yu-Gi-Oh cards are over 3000. It's you'll be hard pressed to find an easy access monster that can just literally run over Cosmo Dark Destroyer. And if already bad enough, if you can destroy it, it recruits another Cosmo monster. Whether it's Forerunner, which is 2800 attack in its own respective right, if it's Slip Rider, which destroys back row, it can also be even a lower level Cosmo monster, such as Good Witch, which flips monsters face down, Wicked Witch, which prevents itself from being destroyed, and even Farm Girl, which searches other Cosmo cards. This card literally is a 2-card OTK in itself, because all you need is a Dark Destroyer and a Farm Girl, and you're pretty much good to go. Not even really that. You need a little less than that. It almost seems very easy to 2-card OTK with that. Now, if I already mentioned that it can't be destroyed by, or when it's destroyed, it recruits, it's 3000 attack, it destroys another monster on the side of the field, which, is just like icing on the cake. But here's even bigger. It can't be targeted. Oh my god. So lower level cards like Castell, Diamond Dire Wolf, and such can't get over Cosmo Dark Destroyer because it can't be targeted by card effects. This card is genuinely the epitome of broken, and whatever Konami was smoking when they made this card, I think I need about a dime sack, or possibly even more, because there's a lot of strokeness right here. Number 3 on this list ironically keeps Cosmo Dark Destroyer in check. That's right, Ignister Prominence of the Draco Slayer. Now this 2850 big body is nothing to scuff at because of its ease to summon. The only thing you need to use is a tuner and a pendulum monster, and you have a 2850 non-targeting Wrecking Ball. The best thing about Ignister is that its effect resolves to send cards from the field to the deck. So if to put it in essence, it's almost like Spellbook of Fate. You get to select your card on the field to destroy, whether if it's on your side of the field or your opponent's side of the field. Just make sure it's a pendulum monster. And then on resolution, Ignister Prominence shuffles a card from the field to the deck. Now, if that's not broken, I don't know what is, because Ignister Prominence literally says, hey, you have to stop me before I'm going to, wreck your board. The best thing about Ignister is exactly what I said. It forces the opponent to make decisions, and it can't really be stopped even if your opponent get rid of the decision. So for example, my opponent has a Cosmo monster, let's just say Cosmo Farm Girl, and I'm activating Ignister's effect. If my opponent were to chain Cosmo Farm Girl or Resolution, I can just put the card he summoned back to the deck because Ignister shuffles the monster, on resolution. That's pretty good. The next thing about Ignister that makes him so good is that he special summons his own material from the deck. Just in case, if your opponent doesn't happen to be playing pendulums and you have no pendulum cards besides the one you use to synchro summon, Prominence special summons a Draco Slayer monster from your deck to your side of the field, which is food for the Ignister's effect. So just about its effect should probably always be live. This card is really good for getting over cards like Cosmo Deck Destroyer, but most importantly, it's really good for getting over almost anything. And its 2850 attack? See what you did there, Konami? You made a really, really good card. Number 2 on this list makes it because of its extreme versatility. This card has the strongest attack in the game. And I know I said Cosmo Dark Destroyer is hard pressed, but this card's an even better card, but I'm just playing about the strongest attack. It actually makes the list not because of its attack, because of its amazing effects, stats, and attributes. We're going to be talking about Performate Damage Juggler. And this card was ultimately the best check and counter to Wavering Eyes. And the biggest reason why is because it was a hand trap. Your opponent can activate Wavering Eyes first turn, and you were like, nah, I don't want you to do all that pendulum stuff. I'm just going to discard that. Or your opponent could be Wavering Eyes for 4. And you might want to need that Damage Juggler to stop that. Furthermore, Damage Juggler can also stop monsters' attacks, because that's pretty good too. When your opponent summons that 3000 beater and decides to attack you for game, drop the Damage Juggler. You're not taking that damage this turn. That's not where Performate Damage Juggler stops too. Its effect to kind of banish itself to search a Performate card may here nor there been a little broken. I mean, when you have the ice cream cone being searched and the mirror being searched, and those are pretty good cards to search because they kind of search other cards in special summoning. This card created an engine that was very hard to beat, and not only did it create its own Performage engine, it works so well in other engines. You could play it in Shadows when Construct wasn't banned, and it'd be amazing. You could play it in Necros, because Necros would have loved tributing this card. You could have played it in so much stuff because it was so versatile, and it stopped cards like Wavering Eyes. The best thing about it is that it was light and a spellcaster, because Brilliant Fusion works really well with light monsters, and Gigabyte and Archfiend Nefariousness works so well with spellcasters. This card literally was a really good design in my opinion, but Konami decided to get rid of it because they don't need checks and counters to Wavering Eyes. Before I get to number 1, there are so many honorable mentions, and you guys could definitely post them down below. A couple of honorable mentions I want to say are Notoria Beast, Elder Entity Nodin, Cyber Dragon Infinity, Minerva, Scarlight Dragon Archfiend, whatever that card is called. Those cards are amazingly good cards, but just like what Kanye West said, let me finish, those cards are great, but this card was the best card of all time, at least in this format. And I'm talking about Tellarknight Timaeus. And I know I don't really say its name right, but who really cares? Tellarknight Timaeus was good before it was good. A monster that requires anywhere between 2 and 7 material to activate any of its effects was pretty devastating. And I'm not gonna lie, Konami probably did a pretty big mistake by making Cyber Dragon Infinity, but this card kind of takes the cake by mistakes. Timaeus allows himself to attach more materials from your extra deck by using Tellarknight cards. Okay, that's not that bad. Timaeus allows you to go into cards like Constellar Pleiades, Satellar, Constellar Diamond, Artifact Durandal. That's not that bad. Those are all pretty decent cards. but allowing it to make Infinity, Cyber Dragon Infinity, a card that will terrorize opponents, and not because of, you know, its ease to summon, because it isn't easy to summon without this card. It's because that it was so easy to summon with this card, and this card literally is the reason why Cyber Dragon Infinity is good in other cards. I feel like Tellarknight Timaeus did get the shaft because, you know, without cards like Cyber Dragon Infinity, this card can definitely be off the list. But then at the same time, its versatility in the game, its playability, its goodness of the game is just really good, which is the reason why it's number 1. Now, it doesn't have the stats to back it up. Its second effect, you'll hardly ever use, but just the fact that it goes into so many great monsters means that this card makes number 1 on the list. Now, I know I said a lot of those other cards before are great, but this card is so versatile to make a lot of great cards. Thank you guys so much for watching another segment of the Cali Effect. I want to know what's your top 5 cards down below in the description. But most of all, guys, please like, comment, subscribe, and go ahead and enjoy this video.